Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the GeekVerse podcast, the 598th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. Just like Josh Wright says right there, hell yeah, hell yeah. I am the Clown Prince of Webs, Tressnail, and I'm joined by...
I am Dylan Moss.
I'm the July 2025.
In a day and age with many odd nicknames that Taylor has had, that has to be one of the weirdest ones, just because many times he's just
Very
had
relevant, though.
Beekeeper. Like, I guess it is. We'll talk about that. We got lots of good little
Only Taylor's
stories.
brain would think of that, though.
Yeah.
I would never think
That's all
to
I'm thinking.
put that as my nickname.
No, I would think like, how could I incorporate July 2000 like 25 in my title, but never just I'm just gonna be a date, you know?
It kind of rhymes a little bit too. That's why I liked it. July 2025. Not,
What?
I was going for the rhyme, but it's like
5 in
It's not
July. Yeah, that's like orange and door hinge. You know, it's like
That's pretty good.
that's
actually.
not bad actually.
That's quite good.
I'll take that.
Now
You
we're
justified
getting
my point.
oh, there you go. Taylor's name rhymes with July, but or what year, whatever. But Taylor, you know how? Well, I can't remember last time we had. When do we have a newscast? Because I don't think it was last week, but the week before. But yeah, we got lots of good stuff coming up. We have Super Bowl coming up this Sunday, so we'll be releasing on the Monday. But yeah, we're gonna be getting our Deadpool 3 trailer. I'm looking really forward to that. That's gonna be tons of fun. There's a whole list. We got a new Apes one, Inside Out 3. There's some other stuff. Knuckles randomly. We're getting a Knuckles teaser.
Oh, the TV
so.
show, right? For Knuckles.
Yeah, is it something like? So I said because. I guess I got the girls. I was gonna say, like, are you and Kirkland reviewing that? Because I'm there for the movies because the girls like Sonic enough. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna see it them. I may as well sit down. I'm not gonna get my answer from Taylor Field right now, but
Well,
Dylan,
I'll ask
I don't
you
think
this
you'll
then,
be on.
Travis.
Yeah.
What Deadpool? All these cameos. Do you think we'll see any of these cameos, even the ones that they've confirmed in this first trailer, or is that something you save, or is that stuff you even just save for either like future trailers or the movie itself?
Mini predictions cast on Deadpool 3 trailer, hey? I think this one's all about Hugh Jackman. So I don't think they
Makes sense, yeah.
I think if you see any other mutants, it's already the Deadpool established cast like Colossus or Negasonic.
Right.
I don't think you blow your load here because I guarantee you there's millions, I'm not going to say billions, but at least millions of people that have no idea Hugh Jackman's back, right? They're not on internet, they're not on Twitter and stuff. And I think that is a big deal because I remember, because I'm a geek. So like when I was at work at my old job, when I worked my old position, when I worked in the office and I got the notification, I was like, because I knew one other guy's a comic watcher, was like, Hugh Jackman's back. And everybody in the room was like, oh my God, really? That's so awesome. I can't wait. So I think this is all about, I think the trailer is like 70% Wade Wilson, Deadpool, and his shenanigans, and then 30% is like Hugh Jackman back, Wolverine back. They show off the costume. So I don't think so. I think trailer 2 is when you could start sprinkling those. But really, what do they need? Like, I just feel like if Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds doesn't sell the movie, what is at that point, right? Like is just seeing Channing Tatum's Gambit is that gonna make someone buy a ticket? Like, I feel like Deadpool and Hugh Jackman, you're in or you're out.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like a lot of the cameos that we've heard anyway so far are kind of more deep cut characters. It's not like you're gonna
Yes.
throw Jennifer Garner's Elektra in there, and
Right? Yeah.
you know that'll get some
Sabretooth.
people hyped, but
Yeah.
I think that's something that you save for the more hardcore fans. Save it for the movie, or maybe like a quick shot in a later trailer. But yeah, you're right. We don't need it here.
I think the
normies.
it's tough because I think the ones that are the selling points would be those really juicy ones, and the two that come to mind is, like I said, Channing Tatum. I said it right. Channing Tatum as Gambit or Chris Evans as Human Torch. I think those are the two that like would get people like, oh my goodness. But do you really want to show those in the
You really
trailer?
think Channing Tatum would make people pop out of their seats there? Why do you think that? The Gambit specifically, or him? Because I feel like he's not even that hot right now, and like no one even knew he was Gambit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's not doing too bad. He hit that movie last year that him and Bullock did, or 2 years ago, was like a big hit. So I guess maybe you're right, where maybe it doesn't sell. I think it would be like, oh, I like him. He's in there. But you're right. It probably doesn't sell a ticket. Then I'll just say Evans is Human Torch.
Chris Evans is good though. Yeah.
But I think that you show Chris Evans and you don't reveal what character he's playing because everyone will think it's Cap, and then really it's
The old
Human
bait and
Torch.
switch, yeah.
Yeah, because other than that, I don't know. Like you can always show off Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. That always does something. But no, I honestly would kind of be fine if they took the approach of No Way Home, where just show Deadpool, Hugh Jackman, and nothing else. The same way we didn't get the 3 Spider-Man. Like that sells itself. Like the first 2 Deadpool movies are massive hits just with Ryan Reynolds, right? So they didn't show like the the X-Men, like the X-Men First Class crew cameo. Like they didn't show those off. So yeah. What about you, Taylor? Went to Dylan's question. You think we're seeing any other mutants in the trailer coming up?
Oh, I would love to see that. I really, really would. But I feel like people are just going to be looking for that Hugh Jackman. Just to see the two of them on screen. I feel like chances are we could probably get the scenes showcased of just what the leaked footage was. Not leaked footage, but the leaked photographs. I feel like that would be interesting to do a trailer kind of focused on that, because then at least you're capitalizing what the diehard fans have already seen, and that's stuff that the GA has not seen yet. So I feel like that's a great way to kind of reveal a little bit of stuff and have a little bit of fun, because that whole sequence looks like it's really wacky and kooky with the way that they're interacting in some of those photo shots. So I think that's a good way to kind of show off and not have to really dig in and spoil more of what the story is.
Yeah. The other thing I'm curious with this trailer, and I don't think they will because it's first trailer. Again, I think it's mostly going to be Deadpool's story, then Hugh Jackman. But I'm curious if they make any linkings to the MCU, right? Like, do you watch this trailer and just go, it's Deadpool? Or is it right away like TVA show up, so a Kevin Feige joke, something? I don't think so. I think that's more trailer 2 stuff. But
I think a joke. I think you could have a joke that's relevant there.
yeah.
That's about the limit, though.
Because it's crazy. We thought about, like, Fox got bought in 2018, and we were always like, man, when Deadpool 3, they're going to make so many jokes. And, like, they still can, but that's, like, that's like, what, 6 years ago now?
Yeah.
It's like, it just feels like such a distant thing where it's like, the jokes are still relevant, of course, but not to the same extent like they were maybe a couple years ago. So, yeah. Who knows? We'll be talking about it. I'm excited. Oh, yeah, Taylor, I was saying, you and Kirkland, you going to review Knuckles?
I mean, I think there's a good chance. If Kirkland's down, I'm down.
I'm like a 50-50 because the kids will want to watch it, but it's just a question of will we watch it live. But okay, I was just wondering if that was just anything that's on the feed. So there you go. I don't know what the date is, but if they have a trailer coming out for the show, I imagine it must be in the calendar year here, I would think. So
I would think so.
Because why would you have a Super Bowl trailer for something that's coming out in 2025? I don't think that's happening.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, especially with the next movie coming out. December. So yeah, I guess their timeline would be for the show to drop before the movie, before December. So
I think so. Yeah. So there you go, Knuckles. You get some good things because I know, Taylor, it's been a tough week for you. A couple losses. It's been really tough on you. Yeah.
What, like
Xbox and Gears. Yeah, lots of stuff.
I'm not worried about it. I can still play it, so I don't care.
Oh, you didn't hear? That's the new news. You can't know.
No longer on Xbox.
Only
You have to buy a PlayStation. But yeah, check out the latest side quest. Me and Dylan did nearly a 2.5-hour cast talking about
Juicy,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and the state of play. And I'm sure maybe we'll get some of Taylor's opinions next week and some Skull and Bone opinions because there's a beta for that. I saw. Is Michelle Rodriguez in the game? What is she talking about?
I don't know where
post.
that came from. I was just scrolling and she's like, "Can't wait for Skull and Bones." Like, this is a weird.
That is really
promo.
Like, that's just an odd. It'd be different if they're like this was a year into the game. And they're like, check out our Dungeons and Dragons DLC for Skull and Bones. But it's just like that's such an like I don't picture Michelle Rodriguez with pirate stuff. But maybe there's a chance she's a voice in the game or something, right? That could be it.
She
likely.
Did that fast game? So she's on a game before.
Whatever happened to that game? It came out, right?
I think it came out, but yeah, I never heard anyone talk about it.
It was a big they made a big deal. They're on stage talking about it. Oh, it's gonna be the first fast food game, but it came out and did nothing. But Taylor, we were talking about this on SideQuest. A new draft idea next year is we should do a video game actor draft where we draft celebrities we think could be in video games.
Celebrities that could be in video games.
So like Matthew McConaughey in that game that's coming up, or when Nick Cage went to Dead by Daylight. So you cast an actor, or like Idris Elba in Cyberpunk, they pop up.
Yeah.
I see.
Because there's so many of them nowadays, right?
Yeah,
so.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Or like Hideo, you got Elle Fanning, and you got Norman Reedus, and all these people. So
lead up to Death Stranding is definitely a good time to do that.
Yeah, so look out for that 2025. But if you join Patreon, maybe there's a chance we record in 2024, nice and early, and that's what could happen over there. Right now, we got 2 retros recording simultaneously with Planet of the Apes and Mad Max, and then everything else. And there's also some episodes that are exclusive there, originals, After 9, Bread and Butter, a whole wide range of different things we talk about. And then every episode, if you want, you can get a nice RSS feed for Spotify, iTunes, for a bunch of other podcast players that you can get this episode and many others ad-free and early. So that's always a great thing, and we would really appreciate it because all the spin-off shows and stuff, whether it's you guys listening here, which please like, subscribe, and if not, and you really want to support us Patreon, that's the best way to do it because we can create more shows, more specials, just broaden our horizons, and we appreciate all the support. Just like this month at the end of the month, if you want to join the producer tier, I don't know why that accent came that way, but we're reviewing Twilight. Jeez, stupid. I gotta turn this StreamYard thumb off thing. But we're reviewing Twilight. We're reviewing Two Hands, which I never even heard of. We're reviewing Teen Beach Movie. So if you're on, hey, there's a movie that you think like, I'm gonna not lie. Twilight for sure, but I never thought we'd get to Teen Beach Movie, you know? But that's why you become a Patreon producer, because that's the highest tier. You get to vote on lots of polls, like we did the After 9, you vote on that type of stuff. And especially right now, I think all the MCU Golden Geeks, that's all dropped for the public feed. Right now, the main Golden Geeks is dropping. You want to get that because the last 2 weeks of March, the polls will go out, and you're going to vote for the winners and stuff. And you're going to vote for some of the tiebreakers. That's coming up soon, so go over there. So just a bevy of things happening on Patreon. So not only do you support us, and yes, you give us some of your hard-earned cash, but we give you a lot of content in place of that. So Halo starts this week. You guys will be doing that with Mr. Patzer, who's he gets back tomorrow, I think, but I still think he's not going to be on that review.
He
We'll
reassured
see.
us that he's going to be there.
He did. But
Isn't it a 2-episode drop as well?
It is a
Makes
two,
it a little
yeah.
more difficult. We'll see.
he also reassured us 2 weeks in a row, like, no, we don't got to change around my school schedule. I'm pretty set. And then he 2 hours
Things
before,
changed.
yeah, things change. So, but we'll see. At least they'll be doing that. So that's do we have any time? I know we'll be dropping on the Friday, but do they drop like a tonight at midnight, or they drop like a 6 p.m. tomorrow? Like, what is? Do you got a time drop for Halo even?
I think
don't
they did
remember what
midnight
they
drops,
were.
right?
I think they were midnight.
Okay, so
'Cause I
Taylor, you
remember
staying up
watching them
tonight?
like in the afternoon when I was done work.
Staying up tonight?
Well, if it's on Thursday, it would be midnight tonight, right? It's not Thursday. Never mind. I have my
It's like,
days all
what?
mixed up. It's Tuesday. Sorry.
That didn't even cross my mind. Well, yeah, he's probably right. That's where I'm at this week.
I thought for some reason it was definitely Wednesday, but it is not. So,
So Kirkland's not back then tomorrow. He's back the next day, right?
maybe he's back tomorrow night. Maybe. Because
Okay.
what I think he did say he had like a 4-day quick trip, but yeah, we'll talk to him on the next Bread and Butter original. He sounds like having a fun time. I keep getting updates by Emily, who follows Shay on Instagram. That's how I know his trip's going.
I love
So
that.
yeah, so there you go. But let's get in the news. We got a good wide variety of just different things to talk about. A couple Patreon questions. Shout out Maddie Sag sending it at the ninth inning right before, just all three, but I'm very excited to talk about them. But Madam Web is next week. We will be reviewing that. That'll actually be our 600th episode, so look out for that.
I love that.
Taylor's going to miss that one, but he'll be on Halo. He's very excited for Halo. But Taylor, at some point, you're going to see, well, I think is there a chance that if enough people, because you're not going to see Madam Web the night of and be on the review, is there a chance that if enough people maybe kind of poo-poo it or are negative, that you might be like, I'll wait for home? Because you did that with Morbius. You waited for Morbius. You didn't go to theaters. So like with Madam Web, do you feel like if there's enough people going iffy on it, or is this one that you're sold on that at some point in the theaters, Cheap Tuesday, you'll get around to seeing?
I'm sold. There's like so many just spider figures in this movie. That just has me super stoked. I want to know more about Ezekiel. I just want to see these characters, see their suits, and just see them pop off. The fact that this is all in the same universe as Venom and Kraven. And
No, it's
all
not.
that, it's not.
Well, the producer and director said it's its own standalone universe.
Oh shit.
I think that has to do with the whole thing that they messed up. We talked about a couple weeks ago. Were you on that newscast when we talked about the timeline where they made it in Andrew's world, like in the 90s, and then they tried to make it in the 2000s, and then they just kind of scrapped it all? And I guess that's what they've been saying. It's just in its own universe. But
Okay.
Madam Web she can transfer like universes and stuff, so she could be like a Doctor Strange, pop over, say hi to Tom Hardy. But
Well,
I
yeah.
don't expect connections of those movies in this one. I don't think.
Okay, well that's good to know then. I thought that was, but
He's out
okay.
now.
I'm out now. No, I'm still excited. I'm just excited to see like the spider characters and everything, and yeah, just I don't think would ever want to consider waiting a year long, because the memes and spoilers and everything kind of came out for Morbius, and I feel like so much negativity and kind of hate surrounding it made my expectations go down. But when I watched it, I had a fun time watching it. I actually enjoyed it. So
Okay. Well, there you go. Mr. Patzer. Mr. Muss. Not bad.
It's Wednesday
I'm sorry,
today.
Dylan. Yeah, it's Wednesday.
I'm gonna pull Ted here. What was the question? Wait, I thought
You excited?
yeah, I am excited. I got my ticket. I'm
It's that
there.
hood. That hood is cutting off. You know.
No, I mean, I think it's fair to ask Taylor that because this guy's. He doesn't even have plans, but he's like, I'm like busy. But it's like, you don't have plans. Like, come do the review with us. Like, you have no
It's
excuse.
Madison
But I got my tickets.
holding
I'm there at
there.
7 p.m. I was trying to do 4 p.m., but Muds wasn't having it. So yeah, I'm in there. I can't wait for this one. I don't
Mud
know why.
seeing
I'm
it?
just like, yeah, she's like,
Okay.
she's into it. She wants to see it. So I'm excited. I don't know what it is about it, but
I just
closer
thought it was
we
an
get,
odd
the more
dynamic
I'm
if she
curious
wasn't
about it.
seeing it, but she wasn't letting you see it for. So I had questions, but it all makes sense if she's seeing it. So
No, she wanted to go.
granted, yeah,
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Josh Wright says, if it wasn't Spider-Man, I would not be rushing to watch. Just probably the worst trailer for a comic book movie ever. Ooh, that's a tough one. I have to go through the annals of history. I think the only ones I'd probably put above that are ones that just fully spoil all the plot, maybe. That's ones I'd have to look at. Like, I think that BVS second trailer was really bad. That's when they revealed, like,
that's a good call.
yeah, Wonder Woman and Doomsday, like that. So there's probably other ones. You're right that maybe it's like it looks cheap or looks like a bad trailer, but there's a couple that have probably just spoiled. Like I think one of those Spider-Man Homecoming ones was like that too, where they just showed the entire movie almost beat for beat. It was like, oh man. So, yeah, no, I'm not excited. I'm excited enough to go watch this, but because Kirkland will be seeing on the West Side, Taylor's not seeing it, and Emily won't be seeing it. This is one of those, like, I was so happy Emily was with me for Morbius because I had a good time with her, but it's just going to be depressing because I'm going to be in the theater alone watching this movie, and just like that, I'm not looking forward to because I'm just like, so I'm going to be getting some big buckets of popcorn.
A lot of tickets were grabbed up in my theater when I was getting mine.
Let's take a look because we're going to talk about box
I
office.
mean, it
and
was
that
a
has
small
some-
theater. To be fair, like, it's like
5
a smaller
seats.
auditorium, but
Yeah.
but a good chunk of it was taken up. I had to go a little closer than I'm used to.
Okay, because yeah,
More
Manny has some
immersive
questions about
experience.
box office that we'll talk about. But yeah, no, I'm not excited. As I've said before, I see this because I love the comic book genre. I don't want it to go away, so I'll support it, even though the tracking for this is not great. But there's one at 620. That's weird. At Grand 10, there was one at 7, and now there's one at 620. So we'll see. I might do that 620 one. That gives me time to bust it back, and that one has nobody. So the 720 one has 4. And the 950 is nobody. So right now, 4 tickets are sold for Madam Web, less than a week away here in Kelowna at the opening night. So there you go. So yeah, no, I guess I'm like just hoping for a so bad it's good. Actually, I don't know. I guess I'm hoping that it's great, but they're not letting the review embargo is the day before. It's like 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So it's like we know what's happening. We've been here before with these Sony movies. So the fact that I have no faith that it'll be a surprise hit is just I got to hope that it's so bad it's so good. And maybe some cool action scene. That's what I maybe hope for, is just some cool stuff, some cool time travel stuff, some cool action stuff. I would love, because maybe I'll just bring this question here before the box office. I would love to be completely wrong about the suit screen time. I don't want it to just be a couple minutes of like dream sequences or flashbacks. I'd love it if like the third act, they're all in their suits kicking ass, but I don't. So my theory is I'm saying it's going to be under 5 minutes. If we want to price this right, I'll say it'll be 4 minutes and 19 seconds for the time they're in their suits. That's what I'm going with.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go higher. I'm gonna swing high on this. I'm gonna go for 12 minutes and 12 seconds. Actually, 12 minutes and 21 seconds.
I hope you're right. Taylor Field. How much time do you
I'm
think they're in
gonna
the suits?
I think you're right, Travis, but I'll be optimistic, but not as optimistic as Dylan. I'm gonna go 8 minutes. 8
minutes,
seconds.
good. Okay, that's a good. What'd you? And 8 seconds. I think you said 8 seconds. Like, wow, that's really bad. But okay, good. I like that. So yeah, we'll see, because that was a big debate with that trailer. And so I will bring in Matty State's question because he asked something, but we're going to talk about box office in general. So he frames it in a good way. So we'll talk about the box office predictions and also answer his question. Head over to Patreon. You can send a question at any time or when we do news. If Madam Web bombs, do you think Sony will pull the plug again on El Muerto? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Apart from the Venom films, it doesn't seem like these Sony films without Spider-Man do well financially. So I can't understand how they justify continuously making them, especially when the critical reception is also equally disappointment. Apart from Craven/Sony or Venom, do they have any others in development? To answer that question, I don't. So So they do. That was a part of the report last week that El Muerto is apparently it's still in development. So that's one. And I think there's still that. I can't remember his name, but Donald Glover was producing, maybe writing, starring in. That was like some sort of Spider-Man villain that uses music or something like that. But I think it was gonna.
I remember hearing about that.
But I think that's gonna be completely separate. But I think the rumor is that's still in development. So they just for live action, they just have those two. Also, the Spider-Verse thing is there's been rumors for Spider-Gwen. We got that rumored rated R. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. There's more stuff that came out I didn't put in the notes, but that rumored rated R animated film supposedly is a Venom animated rated R film. So that makes me a little more agreeable because Venom versus Spider-Man. So yeah, there you go. Hype No Hustler. Thank you very much, Arn. Yeah, that was the one. So those are the only two is Hype No Hustler and El Muerto, but I don't think either of them see the light of day, to be honest. I really don't.
Yeah, those ones definitely are more deep cuts than
Very
even
niche.
Madame Web. She's a pretty big deep cut. But then when you bring in big stars like they have a couple big stars for this, that will push the envelope a little bit. But
these are deep cuts, like it goes through the whole body. It doesn't even. It's like a pierce now. Like it's not even
there's
cut.
a ton of other Spidey villains you could go to before you get to those guys. Like we haven't even heard of it. Well, I haven't heard of those characters before. So
I had heard of El Muerto. I'd never heard of Hype No Hustler. Like I was like, who is that? And I get it, Don Glover. He's a big star, but sometimes you gotta go. Should we let him do this? Like, just let him do just get that Miles Morales movie going. Have him play the Prowler. Like that's what he should be doing, not Hype No Hustler.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have to just wait and see because going to Maddie's question of the two Venom movies were successful.
Yeah.
And then Morbius is like our only other one that's come out really. Like if you want to count Spider-Verse in there, like that's not in the Sony verse, but it's still like under Sony, and those do fine, right? But like Morbius is the only one we have, and from what I could find on the good old Google search here, like cost 80 million, made 167 million.
Yeah,
That's
so
solid,
it broke even.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess if you factor in the whatever marketing costs and whatnot, who knows?
Yeah, and we never know, right? Because sometimes some people say it could be double, sometimes it could be half, but even then, it's like it made the money. So that's the thing where it's like, I guess if they viewed as you never know what the barometer is, right? Because I was talking about this with the GUA guys, and I'm going to bring it up later when we talk about Jurassic World. It's like, oh, what do you think Warner Brothers wants Superman to do? And to me, it's like for me when I see Warner Brothers making a Superman movie, I don't think they want to be like, oh, just make a profit. I think they want to be like a huge success, right? So if Sony's idea is let's just make these movies, and if they're profitable, that's a win. Then I think they'll keep doing them for a while. As long as same thing with Madame Web. I think the rumored budget is supposed to be like Morbius, like around 60, 80 million. So it's like, it's not breaking the bank. It is smaller. The rumored box office projections right now is 20 to 30 million for the opening weekend. So it's going to come in under Morbius. So I think it could have a run kind of similar, maybe less than, but I guess it's just, if it's
Morbius had the memes too, didn't it? I kind of forgot about that.
I think this could get some memes after opening weekend though too. I could see some stuff like people had tons of fun with my mom was researching spiders in the Amazon before she died. Yeah, and I could see
there's
more.
Just I don't know, not that it's a huge audience that's there, but I feel like there is in earnest more people interested in this one. And
I agree.
don't know if it's more because it's like a movie focused on these women characters and it's a different kind of story than we've seen it a few times.
The two
now,
stars, I think, as well too. Where you got Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney. I think people both like those actresses. So there's a little more. So that's why maybe it'll. Right now it's 20 to 30, and Morbius opened at 39. So that's only 9 million away. I was gonna say get some good word of mouth, but I don't think that'll happen. So I guess it'll be an interesting conversation. We'll have to go back at the end of the year because I think Venom will do well, but I think it will do least. It'll be below the first two, and Craven I don't think will do well. I don't think the rated R will actually help it. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I've said before that I hope the movie's kind of. I don't know if I want them to tank, but I kind of want them. I want to pivot. I want them to look at this and go, clearly these aren't working. Let's change it up, even if it is like what you're saying, Dylan. Of like. Especially MCU. I don't think they're gonna use Goblin. I don't think they're gonna use Norman Osborn. Like, not that I need like a Green Goblin movie, but. Get a great screenwriter and figure it out. Like I'd take a Green Goblin movie over the the Hypno Hustler or El Muerto, you know, or Hobgoblin, like something. Even then, like I feel like Doc Ock, you could do something great with that character of like a Frankenstein sort of creating the arms and turns into a monster-esque sort of way, you know. So, what about you, Taylor? What do you think you think if this has like another like Morbius-esque where it's like, you know, kind of a disappointment but not a bomb, like I don't know, it's like a makes money but just it's not a huge hit. Like, do you think these films can change trajectory, or you think Sony's just gonna, you know, they've been doing this since Venom and they're just gonna keep trucking along and just like, let's do another one, as long as they keep these budgets relatively low?
I just don't get it. Like it feels like you need to strive for that, like, wow, that bizarre. Like you got to get people in those seats, and it just feels like they're just using money and just pumping content out to this degree. And it's unfortunate because I feel like at the same time it could. I haven't seen the movie, so it's hard for me to say this and justify this point because it's only an assumption. But it's just lackluster storytelling. Like, are the what I would love to be a fly on the wall and just see what they are talking about in these rooms when they have people writing the story and just, we're going to do this and that. Like, is there a lot of passion behind it? Is there a lot of like heart and soul invested in that? Because
no, I don't think so. Not from Sony, in my opinion.
And that's very unfortunate because you're dealing with characters that are, or at least have the potential to be really, really engaging and wonderful for the audience to view these stories with. And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we love our OG Avengers and other MCU characters, because they write them really well. There's some passion and soul in that. And I'm not saying like the actors and actresses aren't delivering that. I'm sure like Dakota Johnson and co are all giving it their all in these performances, but you can only give your all so much because we've seen what lackluster writing can do and can have an effect. So yeah.
So in that sense, what do you guys think? And I'll write these down because my goal is in the new year to try to be more on the predictions. So when we get to the review, because we always do predictions, but unlike the drafts and stuff, we never come back to them. You know, we're never like, you know, they're out there. So my goal in 2024 is now to keep those. And the screen time, we won't really know until later on because like we got to see the movie and we won't have the exact, but we can kind of talk about it. What do you guys think is going to be opening weekend? Like I said, to put in perspective, Morbius opened with 39 million. Projections right now are 20 to 30 million.
I'm swinging high again. I'll go for that 30. I'll go for
30?
31.
31 for Dylan. Taylor.
Because this also has an extra day, right? It comes out a day earlier.
Comes out Wednesday on Valentine's. Big Valentine's Day movie.
Could be.
Yeah.
Not a lot of competition right now.
I'll say 28 while Taylor's thinking. I'll say just under the 30.
25.
25. Oh my God.
Whoa.
Okay, so then obviously we're a little lower on those. But do any of you think that it will pass Morbius? That Dylan said it was like 167, right? That's what it was?
That's what it was. Yeah, I'm rare. My barometer for this, I feel like it's going to be within 15 million of Morbius.
Ooh, okay.
But I don't know if that's higher or lower, and so I'm just going to stick with my theme. My theme is swinging high, so I'll go high. I'll go 172.
172.
When it's all said and done.
Because what comes out? So Madam Web comes out. Bob Marley's the same day, so it's different audience. Oh man, next week or 2 weeks after is Drive Away Dolls. I hope Kelowna actually gets that. But so you got that, and then you got Dune. I'm gonna say
How many weeks is Dune away?
It's 2 weeks away.
Really? Wow, it's so
Yeah.
close. I don't
It
think it
is.
feels so far
Okay,
away.
so no, it's 2 weeks away from Madam Web release. So right now for us it's
Yeah,
3
yeah.
weeks, but like for when Madam Web comes out, it has 2 weeks. So
Wow,
I
I gotta rewatch Dune 1 here. I gotta get
Yeah.
ready. Oh my God.
it's coming up. I went to go play Dune Spice Wars because I was killing
And?
some time, and I saw there was a tutorial, and I went, no, I'm not going to do that because I downloaded a bunch of Games Pass because I just booted it up, and I was like, there's way too much here. I need to do the learning tutorial stuff.
It's
And,
not an easy pick up and play game.
Yes,
That's for sure.
so that's why I realized I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go. It's 167.
Sorry, are you're not going to try it at all, or just right now? You're not.
No,
you
right
don't have
now.
time?
Yeah, right
Okay.
now. I'll go. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm
I
not
know
just
you
like
like
giving up.
RTS things, right? To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'll come back to when Dune's out, get that hype and stuff. I was just looking for a drop and play of like Ellie was asleep on my chest. I'm like, okay, what can I do here? It's like, oh, Dune. I was like, no, that was not the thing. So I'm gonna say 155. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's going to go under. I thought if Dune wasn't so close, there could be a chance maybe there's some like, I won't say word of mouth, but just like, oh, Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney in a movie. Like, let's go see. Like, if there was less good movies out or bigger movies, but I'll say 150.
Yeah, didn't anyone but you just crush it at box office?
Yeah,
the
I
Sydney
did.
Sweeney hypes.
That just
higher than-
passed 150.
And that movie, I mean, come on, like, looked like a total
I'm gonna
joke.
change and go 145. Actually, I'm gonna go lower. I think I'm gonna go 145. So,
Okay.
so I'm 145. Dylan, what were you?
172.
172. Taylor, overall,
Oh, I'm going 135.
135.
Yeah.
That was very confident.
Yeah.
Confident 135.
There we go. Does anybody? I guess we can talk about the film. Does anybody, as usual, die in this movie? We got 4 Spider-Women. We got what we presume is Ben Parker, Ben Parker looks like Uncle Ben. Looks like Emma Roberts is carrying the baby. Peter Parker, we're assuming. Any of those, man. If we get the scene of Uncle Ben getting shot again, oh no. I hope they don't go that route. You know what? Actually, they could. If Madam Web like flash forward in the future and sees something, you know what? I'm gonna say that the villain and Uncle Ben are gonna die. That's what I'm gonna say.
Sorry, do you mean like they could die and then she goes back in time and they're not dead?
No, I'm gonna say that
They
it's
have to
gonna
be
be like
dead by the end of the movie, I think.
Okay,
As
so
the-
then no, I think she'll see a vision of Uncle Ben dying, but what's his name? Adam Scott will not be dead by the time the end
she'll
of the movie.
she'll save him.
Yeah,
events will
or she'll just
change.
know that's his future. She'll just know that this man is going to die at some point, but it's for the greater good. It's with great power comes great responsibility, right? Maybe she'll even say that to him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So she has great power, and her responsibility should be to act on it. But in this case, she's like, I'm not going to act on it because you need
Well,
to die.
No,
Gotta
she could be
lay
like
the-
Miguel, right? Canon event. Sorry.
Yeah, it's canon event,
Canon,
yeah.
canon event.
Can't interrupt. But yeah, I'll say just the villain. I'll say no, there's civilians, but yeah, I think just the villain. I don't think we're gonna lose any of the main spider people. Also, we're losing Manaweb's mom at some point. It sounds like. But
Losing the mom in the woods, that doesn't count. No, I don't think anyone's dying. I don't think any of the main crew, and I think they'll keep the villain. Yes, like maybe it's a universe thing, maybe it's not a universe thing, but it sounds like they didn't necessarily know that from the start or when this movie was
Yes,
being written,
yeah.
and I think they. Even from the Sony perspective, they say, "Hey, maybe keep him alive technically.
Yeah.
Even if he's just scraping by there, then we can do something with him later if they want to." So
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone is surviving this. Uncle Ben could be the one that goes, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that this movie has more positive twist on things, and she's gonna save him or keep him alive at least
Yeah.
for the time being.
they kill off baby Peter Parker. Gonna be as bold as that.
That would be wild.
Opening scene. No
Save
movie.
that for Flash, putting babies in the microwave.
Yeah. What about you, Taylor? Anybody dying?
Oh, I mean, I could feel like I could see Ezekiel passing, but again, I don't know a lot
Passing.
about these
That's what he's
characters.
gonna do. He's gonna
so
pass
he's gonna
away.
pass, yeah.
Not even a battle. Just.
I just don't know enough about these characters and how prominent they are to say. Like, I feel like all the leading ladies are all going to be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe one could get like injured, but I think she'll bounce back in the final power or something. I don't know.
I
They'll-
will also make
they'll
the
do
prediction
fake
that
out.
someone will get injured. I think that's a good save.
I agree with that one. We'll see some blood. We'll see a bruise or two. Yeah, I like that. A couple hangnails.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our last break and then we'll get into the final prediction. And then Taylor, of course, will have some chat GPT goodness of a Madam Web thing. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So finally, I will confirm this because we've talked about the Discord, but of course, lots of things happen. So you guys might have forgot that there's no end credit scene. It's confirmed there's no end credit scene. So that's what I was going to ask you. Will there be any Spider-Man connections? And I don't mean just like it's in New York. You see, like anything really alluding to something. Because sure, it's its own universe, but like we talked about, Madam Web could be like a Doctor Strange type character, see multiple timelines, things like that. Do we see anything even like across the Spider-Verse where it's like, oh, you see Andrew Garfield, but it's not new footage, it's the old movie, right? Like, do you think we get, other than the rumored Uncle Ben, Peter Parker baby, any other connections, allusions, flashbacks showing footage of the past? Or do you think we've gotten everything we have?
I think we're gonna hear the name Peter in
Yes.
this movie. It's gonna be ambiguous, and maybe that's too easy of a cop out because we already know about these other characters that you just mentioned. But that, to me, that's like the limit, though. I don't think we're going past that at all. I think we'll just maybe hear the name Peter. They might even not even say Parker with it. They'll just
Yeah.
say Peter, and you can kind of think it up and maybe a sequel bait, that kind of thing, even if it's not a post credit. But yeah, that's my vote there. Might be a bit boring, but I just think that's how it's gonna be.
It'll be some dumb shit where they're talking about baby names, and they're just like, "Oh, I've always had a good name, Peter," and then like the
B Parker.
yeah, goes to credits and stuff. Do you think? Because I'm pretty much actually in agreement with you that I think when they said the whole, "Oh, it's not connected," I think when you see other universe stuff, I bet what they might do is you see other universe stuff with their characters. So like, oh, what Sydney Sweeney's doing in another universe or something like that. Like, and that's where I think even those costumes come in. That's going to be like, oh, in the future they become these Spider Women so powerful. Like, I think they'll use our characters. The only one that I think legitimately could have some connection, because I think it's always an easy one to pull, is I think you could hear the voice of J. Jonah Jameson, because like J.K. Simmons is just in a bunch of stuff, and his voice is just. It's just the voice, and like you wouldn't pick up is it's 90s 2000s. Like he's in the Toby films, he's in the Holland films. They've thrown out. It's like JK gets a pass. So maybe
that's
if
a good
like
thought.
yeah, Madam Web's watching TV and you hear Jonah like, oh, there's a lot of spider sightings from the Amazon, and look out for that. Like, which I don't even know what Madam Web's like name is. Like I don't know like her just regular human name.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
she have one?
I don't think
She
I know that
must,
at the
right?
moment.
Yeah. So I think Jonah's the only chance. But other than that, I don't think much.
Okay.
Taylor,
Repeat the question, please.
you see any Spider-Man connections in this movie?
Yes.
How's that thumbnail coming along? I haven't seen it yet in the.
Oh,
in
it's
the-
coming. Sorry, I was just getting the AI prepped. Any Spider-Man relation or
Other,
appearances? not
other than
relations?
like some of like the May Parker, Peter Parker. God, what's his? Oh, I'm forgetting his mom's name. Peter Parker. Josh is carrying the baby. Peter Parker. So not those ones. We know those could be around.
I think you hear Parker. I think you'll hear it in some shape or form. I don't know. We'll know what family member that is. That's over my head. I don't know, but you'll definitely hear the word and the name Parker.
Just Parker.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
Parker.
just Parker.
There you go. You ready over there, Taylor? Unless does anyone have any other predictions or something they want to shout out?
No, I don't think this is gonna be that crazy of a movie. You
No,
know?
me
So
either.
there's not too many wild predictions to make, especially
I
with
think-
no because post credit that's where you can get freaky with it. But if we don't even have
Yes.
one of those, then
I think they maybe had that plan, and then I think a lot of that might have been thrown to the wayside of like, let's just put it out there as like a movie, because like you can't get much crazier than the Morbius post credit, Michael Keaton transport to another universe,
Yeah.
got out of prison, something to do
Sure
with
did.
Spider-Man, hint at the Sinister Six, like there was a lot in one. So
yeah.
yeah, all right, Taylor, lay it on us. What did you ask ChatGPT? Do you need us to kill time?
No. We're good. We're good. I kind of was like trying to like fine tune it a little bit more. So let's see. Write me a movie story based on the Marvel character Madame Web. And I wanted to like really be like specific here because I wasn't sure if it would know to pull in what we've seen in the trailer. So I said include characters like Julie Carpenter, Anya Corazon, Maddie Franklin, have Ezekiel appear as a villain. And then I just said add other Sony Marvel characters in there too because I thought that was in the same universe. But
Nice. No, that's fine.
so
That
that's what
works.
it'll be.
Yeah.
More fun.
Yeah, so I put in like be unexpected, surprise us, other wild characters, cameos, stuff like that. So
Did you say make it an Oscar winner?
make an Oscar winner, yeah, have them all sitting at the table together talking. But yeah, so
That creates an Oscar winner. Just characters at the table
That's
talking.
the formula.
Yeah, Taylor sees that. Oh, Oscar bait movie. Can't see that.
so title, coincidentally, Web of Shadows.
Nice.
Decades ago, the brilliant scientist Cassandra Webb met Peter Parker during a tumultuous period of his superhero career. Drawn together by a shared curiosity about the arcane and an experiment involving real spiders, their lives took a dark turn when the convergence of mystic forces and scientific inquiry granted Cassandra her extraordinary powers. Now, as Madame Webb, she peers into the tapestry of fate intertwined with the very essence of the Spider-Verse. In present-day New York City, the Spider-Women, Julia Carpenter, Anya Corazon, and Maddie Franklin, navigate the complexities of their personal and superhero lives. Madame Webb, aware of an impending threat, guides them with cryptic visions. Meanwhile, Peter Parker, aged and weary, contemplates a quiet retirement until the shadows of his past reemerge.
So we're getting Peter
Aged
Parker in
and
this
weary.
movie. You know,
He's
that's
old,
huge.
yeah.
And why, when people send like these visions, why are they always gotta be cryptic? Just send a very clear and like concise vision. Just saying.
Yeah, that way it's, you can stop the threat before it happens.
Yeah.
They got to be mysterious.
Just saying.
Ezekiel, once a mentor, now turned villain, forms alliances with dark entities, including Morbius, Venom, and Kraven the Hunter.
Whoa. Okay, so
you
this
go.
movie comes
Craven
out
before the Craven movie.
Yeah, it's a big setup for Craven. Starts as a villain
But
and
not
a good
Vulture. That post credit meant nothing.
yeah, Venom and Morbius. Okay, that's a nice little. That's what's 4 out of 6. What's that percentage?
80%?
80. It's 8. So what's 5 out of 6?
Probably 90.
I feel like 80 is pretty. No, 80 is pretty high. Let's do some quick math here. Let's see.
That was quick math. But yeah.
Sorry, let's use a calculator. 66%. So we have
Oh,
66% of the.
Too low.
We have
Oh, that was
66% of the Sinister Six right here. We just need 2 more members and we're all set.
Okay.
Hypno guy in there.
Yeah.
and,
A sinister plot unfolds as intimate relationships blur the lines between hero and villain. Julia Carpenter, haunted by her past, discovers a connection to Morbius that threatens to unravel her sense of duty. Whatever that means. Anya Corazon grapples with conflicting emotions, torn between her responsibilities as a hero and the mysterious allure of Venom. Oh shit!
oh wow.
There's a lot of someone has some connections with Morbius, the allure of Venom. Like, what's going on here? Okay.
We're all ready to fuck.
Yeah, it's a spicy Valentine's Day.
yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah. Maddie Franklin, driven by a desire for redemption, seeks guidance from an aging Peter Parker, unaware of the web of deceit that surrounds them.
Aren't we all aging though? Like they've said aging twice. It's like we're all aging.
But he's aging and weary. Remember, don't forget about
He's
that.
an old retiree. The battles that ensue are brutal and violent as the heroes clash with the formidable alliance led by Ezekiel. Unexpected cameos add to the chaos, with the likes of Kraven's half-brother, the enigmatic Chameleon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a guy? That's a thing?
You don't know the Chameleon?
I've never heard of the
X-Men?
Chameleon.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
surprising we've never seen him in live action in any way, right?
We're gonna in summer. He's in the Craven movie. No, legit.
Oh,
No, he's in the
really?
Craven movie. Yeah.
Oh,
Chameleon.
shit.
He's someone from White Lotus still, and you'd see the actor, and apparently he's really good in that. So
I forgot that they were related.
yeah, I don't like it. It feels like a stretch. I don't know if they were maybe related from the origin, but from what I know. But yeah, he is a shapeshifter, Taylor. Sometimes it's been like Mission Impossible style. Sometimes it's been like in the animated show, he had this belt that would just transform him into another person. So either way, he's like Clayface, where there's multiple versions of how he changes into other people.
That's cool. Yeah. And the relentless hunter, Silver Sable. I've never heard of him.
yes. Silver
Okay,
Sable.
that's fun.
Stacked movie right now.
Making
Lots of
surprise
people.
appearances. The city becomes a battleground with web shadows and blood intertwining in a macabre dance. Macabre?
Just macabre.
macabre.
Just macabre.
Amidst the chaos, Madame Web's cryptic visions become clear. Ezekiel's plan involves pulling real spiders from the very fabric of existence. What? Amplifying their power to cataclysmic levels. I mean, I got arachnophobia to a degree,
power.
so
My plan is to find real spiders and give them apocalyptic powers.
that's
Damn.
crazy. As the heroes grapple with this revelation, a heartbreaking sacrifice occurs among them, leaving the Spider-Woman forever changed. Peter Parker, reluctantly drawn back into the fight, joins the Spider-Woman for a climactic showdown. The battles are
We
intense.
don't know who made a sacrifice. Just someone.
Doesn't specify.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody.
Culminating in a violent clash that echoes with the echoes of betrayal, death,
Echo
and
confirmed?
sacrifice. In the aftermath, Madame Web whispers cryptic words about an uncertain future. Just when it seems the danger is past, a spectral figure emerges, a remnant from Madame Web's past. The figure reveals that the true web of shadows has only just begun to unravel, setting the stage for an uncertain future filled with unforeseen alliances, revelations, and the echoes of intimate relationships that have forever altered the Spider-Verse.
Wow. I feel like GPT threw in the towel at the end there. The last few sentences was... I mean, even the grammar was getting pretty wonky. That's pretty uncommon.
The echoes of echoes.
Echoes of the Echoes. That was my favorite one. Yeah, the Echoes of the Echoes. Yeah. Did this one have a nice post-credit scene with all those surprises and characters?
Talk for about a minute here. I'm just gonna quickly type it in.
Talk for about a minute. My goodness, yeah. So yeah, I don't think, as we talked about before, I'm not gonna be getting any of those cameos and stuff. And even Craven, I don't think that'll be happening coming up because we got Chameleon and we got Rhino. I feel like I'm pretty satisfied with my Spider quota characters there.
Right.
You know. Because Rhino, we just see in the trailer like a guy turning into a rhino. We don't see the full thing.
Oh,
So
yeah. I don't
yeah.
know if I've seen that trailer with the Rhino. I probably
that-
talked about it and forgot about it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it happens at the very end. But I guess we're just. Do you think we're ever gonna get to the point where we're just gonna man in a rhino suit? Because we got Paul Giamatti in a metal rhino suit, and now in Craven we're getting a person that turns into a rhino. But like the classic Spider-Man, where it's just a dude with some sort of rhino.
Yeah. I think someday. Someday,
Yeah.
yes. Someday, yes.
Yeah.
With alternate realities and universes, or like
Shadows of Shadows.
I guess Spider-Verse Part 2 had like an actual rhino in there.
Yeah, that's true. He was in there.
But I
Yeah.
think that could be fun. They would do that kind of rhino. I think.
Yeah. We need more. Maybe we'll get him in the. I guess so. I want live action. I want to see someone live action in that suit. But it'll probably just be like Juggernaut. Well, like in Deadpool, where it's just a big CGI person. You know,
That's more likely, unfortunately.
Yeah. Because it's pretty. Rhino's pretty
But I
big
don't know.
guy.
I mean, everything comes and goes. Style changes here or there, and I feel like eventually with comic book movies, we'll get to a point where that'll be cool to do that again.
Yeah.
To have people in weird suits like that instead of the big CGI beasts. So
Mhm.
someday, I just don't think it'll be anytime soon.
Yeah.
But give it 30 years, yeah, for sure.
30 years.
Or at least until it goes public domain, then we can do it. And then
30.
fulfill the
Yeah. Oh
prophecy.
yeah. All of us will be fighting over who's gonna play Rhino.
we can all take a turn.
Yeah.
I was kind of blunt with just one thing I added in here because I wanted to force ChatGPT's hand.
'Kay.
Amidst
Was
the
it doing that
lingering-
thing where someone's in the shadows, but it won't reveal who's in the shadows? Is it doing that thing?
No.
Okay.
I forced its hand before it could do that. Amidst the lingering echoes of the recent battles, the cityscape of New York is eerily quiet. The camera zooms in on a dark alley where the shimmering glow of a dimensional rift materializes. A figure steps through, revealing the unmistakable silhouette of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, displaced from another universe.
I love Andrew Garfield, but I don't know his figure that well. But okay, fair enough. So
He's a pretty distinct figure in No Way Home, I would say.
I guess. So there you go. He's in there.
Andrew's Spider-Man, disoriented but resolute, glances around the unfamiliar surroundings. Before he can fully comprehend the situation, a voice echoes from the shadows. Welcome to the Web of Destiny, Spider-Man. We've been expecting you. The camera pans to reveal Madame Web, her spectral form observing Andrew with a knowing gaze. Cut to another dimension, where Miles Morales, the young Spider-Man from an alternate reality, swings through the vibrant cityscape of his own New York. He receives a mysterious signal on his spider sense, drawing him towards a convergence point. Back in the primary dimension, a portal opens up, and Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, steps through with purpose.
Wow.
He surveys
With
the
purpose.
aftermath of the recent chaos and exchanges a nod with Madame Web. And then she says, "The threads of fate have brought us together, Spider people. The shadows of the past have birthed a new threat, and the Web of Destiny requires heroes like never before." The trio of Spider people, Andrew Garfield, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2099. I like how it refers to Andrew Garfield as him, but Miles Morales is...
Well, because there's
is
no
the
live
name.
action actors, maybe, right? As those two, so that's why they
Yeah.
can't
Speaking
pull a
of,
name.
if that's easy to ask, you should ask who got cast as
Yeah,
the character.
do that after. Yeah.
I will. They exchange glances, but understand the gravity of Madame Web's orbs. She says, "The darkness looms on the horizon, one that transcends dimensions. We must unite against this new threat to protect not just our worlds, but the entire Spider-Verse." The camera zooms out, revealing the Spider Quartet standing together, poised to
Whoa.
face the unknown. So they just shafted all the Spider ladies, it looks like, and it's just Madame Web with the
much,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, what? Not even have one on the team. Well, I guess Madam Web's there, right? So she's there.
there, yeah.
So the next team. Honestly, though, even if it was a shit movie, if we got Dakota Johnson end credit, which we don't have an end credit, but Andrew Garfield walked through, then with the live action Miles and Spider-Man 2029 or 2099, that would be a really hype end credit. Like
huge.
that'd be at least a movie I'd be excited to see. You know, like that right there, that quad. I'd be like, okay, give me this. As we said before, why are we not doing? If you're gonna do these Sony movies, give me more Spider people. You know, which I guess we're getting a little bit with Madam Web, but give me some of that action. So
Yeah. Also, we're so used to the dimly lit rooms or dimly lit basements, dimly
Yeah.
lit whatever. This time we got a dark alleyway instead. So I like that. It's still in that realm, but it's a little bit different, a little more fitting for this. So I'm proud of Mr. GPT there.
Not where I also thought it was going to take place, dude. Just like an alleyway, though, for Madam Web. This like very
But
powerful
for
character.
Spider-Man though, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of alleyways in those movies.
True. Taylor, you got an actor for Miguel and Miles yet?
It's fucking with me now. Doing
that thing.
I'm gonna trick it. So talk for about 30 seconds.
Okay. I feel like it's gonna just default to Oscar Isaac for $29.99. I feel like that's gonna be an
Right,
easy
and do you
thing.
think it would grab what is it? His Shamik?
Shamik Moore?
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I hope not, just because the age wouldn't really line up. But maybe. You
How
know.
old?
Well, Miles is supposed to be like in high school. I think Shamik's like in his 30s, so I don't
Is
think.
he?
I think so. I could be wrong. Maybe
he
I'm wrong.
sounds like a high schooler in
Yes.
those movies. They do a good job with that.
Maybe he's late 20s. Maybe he's your guys' age.
I've never seen him. He's
Yeah?
he's my age, 1995, so he's
Yeah.
28.
There you
Okay.
go. Okay.
So I'm gonna pop this up. So it's saying for Miles Morales,
Yeah.
Caleb McLaughlin.
Is that the Stranger Things kid?
That's the Stranger Things.
Yeah,
kid.
that's a popular fan cast. So I'd be down for that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And then the second pick was Zolo Mariduena as
Blue
Miles
Beetle?
Morales. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's.
I think he's gonna be a little busy. He's doing. He's
I think
doing
you need
DC
someone with
stuff.
a little more gravitas.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I think that the
Um,
Is
Jacob
he
guy has
busy?
it though.
Sorry, what's he busy with? Is he?
He's still Blue Beetle.
He's gonna. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're
I
keeping
thought
him.
Everyone was cut from that.
Well, no, they kept Viola
He's in-
Davis, right?
he's
They're
in
keeping
Cobra
John
Kai.
Cena, so he's in Cobra. Well, Cobra Kai's ending, but him and Gunn have said that he's sticking around in DC. They liked him. So, and you didn't see Blue Beetle, but they specifically took out any DCU references. So they'll say like Batman, but you don't see a Batman. You don't see the logo, so it's just the general sense of Batman. So you can work it in.
Right on.
For Miguel O'Hara, first pick is Oscar Isaac,
Yep. Okay.
and then second pick Diego Luna.
Oh, I'd like that. I like Diego. That'd be good. That'd be fun. Oh yeah, Madam Web, come on.
Oh, yeah.
Andor, yeah,
That'd be good, actually. Yeah.
yeah. No, don't. You haven't seen the
Wait,
last
sorry,
season?
Zolo. That was for Miles as
Yeah,
well.
for Miles.
Oh,
No, that
okay,
was
I thought
for-
that
that
was
was Miguel.
for 2099. And
Oh, it
that's
was
where
for
I like,
Miguel.
That was, yeah, Diego
Oh.
Luna and Oscar Isaac. That was for Miguel.
No, we're talking about Zolo who flew Beetle. That was Miguel.
Oh,
Yes,
that was-
because remember, Miles
Zolo was
is-
Miles.
Yeah, he's Puerto
Zolo was
Rican
Miles, okay.
slash African
Oh,
American.
okay, yeah, yeah.
yes.
That's what I meant with the gravitas thing. I thought that he didn't have the gravitas for 2099, but
Okay, I agree with you there. And even then, too, with the guy for Miles, I don't know if you saw last season of Stranger Things, but he really brought it. So I think
really,
he's,
okay, nice.
yeah,
that's a
he's-
great pick. Yeah, I kind of forgot about him because I haven't watched that show in a while, but that
Yeah.
would be a good pick.
Well, maybe we'll see. Our review will be next week. Check it out. I don't think it's gonna be as exciting as that ChatGPT, the web quadret or whatever. I don't think we're getting those, but you never know. Maybe we'll be.
Echoes of echoes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take our next break, and then we're gonna talk about some Daredevils. We'll be right back. And we're back. So Daredevil. So I'm gonna bring up some photos here. So they've been shooting Born Again. The good thing is, if people have been spoiled because they had stuff out there with Karen and Foggy on the set, they shot multiple scenes with multiple endings. So that's a good thing, because for a while there was a narrative going around last night of a certain thing happening, but then today they shot it in reverse and they shot then another version. So they were smart where they're like, okay, we're out in public, we're just going to shoot a bunch of versions of the scene so no one knows what's happening. So that's good, but they're out in public right now. So as we can see here, hopefully the stream will get taken down. This is Daredevil. Now, this came out last night. At first, it was a very blurry photo from the back, and he was very bright, which he is still very bright. I compared him
Especially
to
'cause it's nighttime here.
yeah, I compared him to like a fruit roll up, but that is Daredevil right there. And then I'll bring up Bullseye. That's going to come up next. So this is a comic accurate costume, but not like the classic kind of what you would affiliate. I can't remember what run this is. It's not exactly, but the whole mask down, very tactical. There is something like Bullseye. So Dylan, how are you feeling about, obviously Bullseye, we never got to see him in a costume, so this is going to be his costume. And how are you feeling about, and I guess I will also bring up a comparison, because Clay did ask about, oh, what's the differences here? And here is them all, the Daredevil, so you can kind of see the difference where this one looks a bit more sleeker as far as you can see. Like it's less black, the new one. There's less like those first three have like, oh, here's a divot, here's a ab piece, here's like, it's all very just like a one sheet. He has actually, I don't know, I guess his belt buckles I guess were circles, but now in the new one they look more like D's, I guess. Like that's what people are saying, like they're more D-esque. But yeah, what are you thinking about this this new costume for Matt
Are these
Murdock?
images of actually of Charlie Cox? They look like a stunt double to me. Yeah.
Stunt double for this one. I think he will be in the suit, but yeah, they were filming action scenes last night.
I just mean
So
for these pictures.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very red. That was my first take on it, which
Yes.
is not a shocking take, but it's very bright. So I'm very, I don't know, maybe that's like a color grading thing they do. Maybe they want it to be super bright and then they can darken it down in the edit or something like that.
Oh no, I hate when they do that. Like I know this is bright,
I don't
but
mean
I don't
like severely, but maybe just from these shots, which look like paparazzi photos, like just
Yeah.
it'll look a lot different when we actually see it on screen. I don't dislike it, but it is I just love that Netflix red. That's like to me the ideal red.
Mhm.
And I also really like the She-Hulk version with the yellow as well. So I don't know. I guess it's gonna take a little time to get used to it. But I think it looks solid. I don't know. They're all very similar, honestly. Like I don't think they're drastic differences. So I'm into it.
Yeah, this one's definitely just more red and it looks a bit more, I will say, like leathery, which like Deadpool or like Daredevil, he always has, because I have a good example of a costume I kind of wanted preferred. The comic one, he's always like, it's like skin tight, like leather or something, right? So it's like, I get why they don't do it. It's a hard one to do. But I like, you got the batons there. So I like how red he is, especially if we get the whole thing of him being with Spider-Man. I think he should maybe have a bit more of a poppier red, like stand out beside like a blue and red individual. Yeah. Taylor, what do you feel? Because Taylor, you haven't watched the show, but how do you feel about this design as far as like, do you agree with Dylan that they'll probably mute the colors down? Because I agree they will. I just feel like sometimes like when we talked about Captain Marvel's suit, right, recently in the Marvels, where we liked it, but then it was like the blue and red, like that tone was so brought down. It's like, oh, like let it pop a little. So I don't want them to go too hard on the like the decolorization, but obviously you're gonna watch show soon with Kirkham. But what do you feel about this? As like this is like the maybe MCU, and I don't know, maybe there could be another suit in the show. I don't know, but if this was like his look going forward, how would you feel about it?
I'm okay with it. This one feels very much so like an MCU superhero suit. Even just the way like the padding is on his abdomen and it goes up to his chest plate
Very
area.
cap-like.
It's cap light. It feels like it's Mysterio chest plate almost. It gives me that vibes.
Whoa.
Like it feels like this is a kind of style we've seen before, but yet it's different. It's its own thing. And so I like it. I love how red this is. I think it's really, really cool. And I like that it feels unique and it's its own thing. As much as I love the red and orange, like Iron Man-esque kind of like colors that he had before, that was a pretty cool suit. So I don't know. I think this is a pretty awesome upgrade.
All right. So then for this one, Taylor, better or worse than Colin Farrell's Bullseye, who you're a big fan of?
I mean, he just wore a trench coat and had a burn mark.
Well, he had a bullseye on his head. That was pretty good.
Bullseye on his head, yeah. But
I don't see no
like,
bullseye head in Bilson Whistle's, whatever his name is, head. It doesn't look like there's a bullseye logo there.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have it yet. Although, I don't know. I think he looks kind of cool, but he looks like just like an operator from Call of Duty or something.
He does, yeah.
He does. I don't know if there's better ones. I'll try and find.
So my thought on this, I mean, initially it is. Oh my god, that's not a operator.
COD operator.
I'm definitely mixed on it.
I think it is kind of generic and boring. But what I do like about it, potentially if they go the story angle, is I like that he's rocking the Hawkeye color scheme, and I wonder if that could be a story thing because the characters are very similar power wise, and I could see.
He hates
Bullseye.
Hawkeye in the comics too, by the way.
What's that?
He hates Hawkeye in the comics. They have a history, so
Interesting. Okay, so either way, I mean, I think it'd be interesting if there was some element of it that was pulled into Hawkeye, which makes sense because if Hawkeye was really bumping around that New York scene for a bit there, he's a relevant character. He was there, Kate Bishop, and all that. So that's something that I think could be a fun angle that I hadn't really thought about before, just because of the power set there. So.
And we got confirmed in Echo that Daredevil wasn't snapped and Hawkeye wasn't snapped, so maybe Bullseye wasn't either. So maybe they did bump into each other.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So we never tackled it because remember, because I don't think we ever circled back to it. When we were on the review talking about when did Echo fight Daredevil, it was revealed that was during the blip. So Matt Murdock, Echo, Hawkeye. We knew we knew Hawkeye. Yeah, Kingpin. Those characters survived the blip. So you could say that about Bullseye. And if you're on screen, as you can see, this is like what the comic accurate version is. Obviously not complete identical. I do wish there was the bullseye on the head. I would have liked that. But also too,
What if they CGI that on?
They could. Yeah, you're right. And the other thing is too, this could just be like his first costume, right? Like he could have a very similar to Matt, right? Matt didn't start off with a Daredevil costume. He went up, so we don't know how far into his bullseye career he is. But I agree with Taylor to a sense like I'm I'm excited to see it on screen, shot well, and go from there, because I think on set photos, yeah, it doesn't look, you're right about the Call of Duty operator type of skin, but I do like that he's tactical. Like he's got a lot of knives. He got this big like gun with a big silencer. There's set photos of him just throwing like smoke bombs out. So I do like that aspect of it, that he's that going on for him. So yeah, we'll see. And yeah, that's because, do you guys feel that you're missing, because that was a big debate. Everyone thought, hey, when it comes to MCU, we're going to get the D's on the chest. No D's on the chest yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably good that I didn't even notice that, so I don't feel like I'm missing it.
That's fair.
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
Taylor, you missing the D's?
I didn't notice it, so I'm not missing it.
That's fair. I'll stop sharing because what I wanted, and it looks good, but I felt like somebody found like the closest you could get to a where is it here? Yeah, this is what it was. Because some people were not a fan of this suit, because if they didn't like the Netflix suit, they want some more. But this is something that I saw a fan edit. I was really liking this one. Now, I don't know if Charlie Cox is like as jacked as that, but I was really liking that. I feel like this is the closest, like getting to the skin type, but you want some armor in the MCU, so I get it. It is what it is. But maybe we'll get
the D's on this one on the chest.
Yes.
That's nice.
Maybe we'll get the D's eventually, because people say it's a big chest. It's very wide open and stuff. So we will see and go from there. And yeah, so they're shooting outside. We'll see if there's any more set photos and stuff. And yeah, got Karen Foggy out there back. So it's good. It's filming along and stuff. So
Exciting.
that's all. Yeah, that is exciting. So next up, Taylor, Mr. July 2025. You're waiting for this. Jurassic World, we don't really know a title of it. We talked about it a few weeks ago, but what's happening right now is, yes, it did get confirmed for July 2025. And then David Leitch, who directed Bullet Train, he directed Deadpool 2, he directed Hobbs and Shaw, he co-directed one of the John Wick movies, and he's doing the Fall Guy that's coming out this year. So clearly, same studio. They must like what's happening with that movie. They're giving it a big push. He is in talks, but the talks were from an A-tier kind of source to be directing this movie. Yeah, so Taylor, what do you feel about your, less than, I guess just under a year of getting a new Jurassic World movie? Maybe. We'll see. I feel like that's really bold for they haven't locked down a director it's coming out next summer, but still. And then how do you feel about David Leitch directing this, if he's the guy that gets the call?
I mean, yeah, we were talking about that, and it's exciting because there's something that could come out of that I'd be interested to see. A certain actor.
What is that?
But Brad Pitt.
Why are you hinting like you're a scoop or something? You can just say it.
Yeah, I got it. Brad Pitt, Jurassic World.
He's worked with him. Yeah, he's worked with him a few times. So you could get pinned a Jurassic World movie.
And I think that would be. I never thought I would see like Brad Pitt in a role like that, especially because he's been doing more of these like comedic roles lately. But like I love those serious films with him too. He can be super charismatic, and I love World War Z. I revisit that film sometimes like twice a year, maybe even 3 times. Like it's just like it's a film that I really really enjoy. And
you watch World War Z 2 times a year.
Yeah, there's a lot of
check
scenes
that letterbox. I think that's a lie.
There's a lot of scenes in that movie. There's a lot that I don't log on my letterbox that I just totally forget too. But
sure.
It's just the movie itself. I like how he is able to deliver really high intense, like hairs up on the back of your neck sequences with some of his acting and situations he's dealing with. And so if you were to apply that to dinosaurs, I think we could really have a whole can of worms in a good way on our hands. So I'm just excited just to know that we could have this movie. Let's like slap the director on there. Let's go, because I like Deadpool 2. Well, I like the first one more. It's not like I hated Deadpool 2. I like Deadpool 2. I like Bullet Train. That was a great time. It was funny, and so I just my con would be getting a Jurassic movie that has a lot of humor attached to it. I worry about that, and so I'm hoping that whatever they see in this guy, that maybe there's something that they want to have him pursue or have him do that he hasn't done before. I just want it to be. I really want it to be scary. I want it to be terrifying, because when you look at that Fallen Kingdom intro, that first 5-minute period, that was great. That was just awesome Jurassic Park, where things are run down and damaged and it's stormy and the dinosaurs are trying to kill the people and they're just trying to get out of there, barely escape with their lives. That's fantastic, and we need more of that. Again, we got the writer for the first film
one,
coming back. Yeah, so that is really, really good stuff. And so I really hope that they can capitalize on something that's really scary. I hope they can capitalize on something that is in the world, like you are always talking about, Travis, Planet of the Apes style, but dinosaurs. There's still so much to explore with that without adding the locusts as a threat. I think we need to focus on the dinosaur element of that. So,
Locusts. Oh man, Dylan, you never saw the last Jurassic World, did you?
I still have not seen the most recent one. No.
Oh,
extended
Locusts,
edition.
man. Don't worry
No,
about that.
I think I'd watch the standard edition if I were.
So we had talked about this before about, like, you know, directors and stuff. Is this move the needle anyway for you?
I don't. I think for what these current new era Jurassic movies are, this seems like an amazing pick. It seems like he's really solid, really making some fun movies, good action, good use of CGI and all these things. So to me, it seems like he's kind of the perfect fit for this. When I was looking through just the previous movies he's done, and I don't know. I think I just have to see a trailer before I determine if I'm interested in it. But I don't know. I'll probably check it out either way. I really liked Bullet Train as well, even though I was kind of sick of it after all the trailers. But I still really enjoyed it, and I love Deadpool 2 and all that. So I'm into it. I think this is a really good pick.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one because I just feel like Hobbs and Shaw won't count because that's Fast and Furious. But if you got Deadpool 2, you got Bullet Train, and the Fall Guy looks to be like a very similar type of comedic tone as Bullet Train. I feel like Jurassic World does have comedy, but I don't think it's his type of comedy, which is almost like a heightened, sometime close to parody type of comedy. So to me, it's like either Jurassic Park is gonna go through a big change, or he's gonna go through a change as far as like maybe try to level up or evolve or do something a little bit differently. Because I don't think he's just done like a straight drama, right? Like I guess you could say John Wick's maybe the closest, but I don't think there's one that's just straight like, oh, this is serious. And because I guess
wouldn't we look more at the writer though in terms of determining how comedic it's going to be, and we see that that's possibly a very good pick, right?
Yeah, and that's where I think maybe it is that, okay, he's writing it and then Leach is going to do less of that style and he's just going to shoot what's the script there. I am very curious about that date because for me, I feel like this has to be, and I'm not going to say Prey with Jurassic World or Park, but I feel like if this is coming out July, that's a really quick turnaround for they're not even shooting it. Like, this movie with big CGI dinosaurs and set pieces. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a smaller movie. And just because we've talked about this before where all these companies have been like, hey, we're going to make a lot more smaller budgeted films, right? They're going to watch that. So I don't know what you could do. It's almost like, Taylor, you remember that short film of when they're camping and then there's a dinosaur around and stuff like that?
Battle of Big Rock.
Yeah, about Big Rock. And I said, man, I wish this was a movie instead of just like the short film. I wish if you just did, and I know some people might be disappointed because you want the big spectacle and a big full like island full of dinosaurs. But imagine that if you're in a world of dinosaurs and you're camping and a fucking velociraptor comes up. Like, hey, what do you do about that? The same way as like Revenant with a bear, but dinosaurs, like do that. So I feel like it has to be smaller. If not, then Taylor, your name of July 2025 is not going to happen. I don't think, because that just feels like a quick turnover rate to get that out.
I feel like I feel like this is something that they've been already working on. Like, I feel like isn't like scripts already done and all that, and
Well, the script is done, but they don't have a director. They don't have anybody cast. That, like, at least we know, right? Like, still, Leech right now is in talk, so that's still in it's still in the motion of they're talking about money and contracts, right?
that's
so
true.
That's what's strange to me is like same thing. We don't have an actor attached, anybody like that.
In terms of that's really, really a good point. In terms of having the assets, I feel like this is where Jurassic Park 3 particularly really benefited because it was able to just probably drop its budget and just rehash and reuse most of the assets from Jurassic Park 1 and 2 when they have all those animatronics built and whatnot. So when you look at collectively, we got 6 movies worth of practical effects, robotics and animatronics and everything. I think that helps really slash their budget down because they can just pull all that, reskin it and use it. So that shaves a lot of time down too for building things, considering all the models they got. So
Yeah.
if they're just doing CGI and whatnot, I feel like they could quickly go ahead and turn it around, but they can't be doing something big like an Endgame level or anything like that. That's huge. I mean, I feel like it would
Well, I
have
don't
to be
think
a
they could
smaller.
do a Dominion. I don't think like that the size of
They couldn't
like,
do a
the
Dominion.
last
No,
movie,
they'd have to keep it pretty small and contained. And I feel like small and contained is like the first Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
That's small and contained, and that doesn't have to be again limited to an island. It can be in our present day, like Battle of Big Rock, as you said. That's a great example. So hopefully they keep it to that because it doesn't need to be huge world-ending locusts coming in and whatnot. So
Yeah, which I think you could build to. So we'll see if it comes out. Because my follow-up question was, right now the date, if it comes out next year at that time, it's a week after Superman Legacy, which I think not great for Legacy. But that's what I was talking about with the GOA guys. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think overall would make more? This Jurassic movie, which we don't know of a cast for, so that's why I refused. Clay tried to pizza bet me, and I said I got to see a cast first because like
what was he pizza betting you?
that Legacy would make more than Jurassic, like whatever this is.
Oh.
And I'm not ready because to me the cast could be key because like even though he was on the upswing, like Chris Pratt's a bigger star now than he was then, but still Jurassic World was after Guardians, so he was starting the build. People at least knew Bryce Dallas Howard, and like I said, for example, let's say it is a more serious Jurassic movie. I don't actually think Brad Pitt's out of the question. I really don't. They've worked together multiple times. So, like imagine a Jurassic Park movie with Brad Pitt all over those posters. So for me, it's a cast, and for me, even then, I lean towards Jurassic because those last 3 Jurassic movies all made $1 billion. I'm not saying this is gonna make $1 billion, but I feel like there is more hype with that. But maybe the idea of, hey, a new Superman, new universe, a lot of up and comers in this movie. Like, I'm not saying it's like a for sure, but if I have a gun in my head, I think it's the Jurassic movie, which is, like I said, it's interesting that if this sticks a week apart, that's 2 big movies, very, very suffocating each other right there. So
Which Clay was it? Was it Fanboy or Patreon?
Fanboy Clay, yeah, not Patreon Clay, yeah, Fanboy Clay.
Yeah, sorry, Clay. I don't think that's.
So you
I'm
would
on
go
the
Jurassic as
Park
well?
side. I'm on Jurassic side. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the track record, just $1 billion all around across the board. That's pretty potent. I feel like Superman's the first like project from Gunn's universe, right?
We get
kickstarting
Creature
it?
Commandos this year, but like no one's paying attention to that. Like people are, but I mean, like that's us gonna watch that, right? Like I don't think my mom's gonna be like, this is like at least I can say legacy of like, hey, they're starting a universe. It's legacy. I'd never say like, hey, go watch Creature Commandos to get the start of the DCU. But yes, that is the kickoff. So it could have that new car smell, right? Of like that excitement, the build up, and all it takes is a couple good trailers, you know?
Absolutely, it could. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know. Are kids super hyped into Superman these days? I don't know if that's still the rage. I feel like dinosaurs just they always have that stamp there
Yeah.
for kids.
Evergreen, not niche genre to go for there. Dinosaurs for sure.
I think so. Yeah, I think that legacy is going to be the big decider on that because that's been the debate for years. Is like, is Superman even like an A tier character anymore? And I think it's tough to ask that because the Snyder films were so divisive. Like, if if it wasn't Zack Snyder directing the Superman films, we don't know what it would have been like, right? Because that is a popular character. I think those just very divided the audiences. And still, BVS was an $800 million movie. It was still like a big hit. People talk about it like it wasn't, but it still did well. But Dylan, do you have a different side of this, or you think similar to us?
Unfortunately not. I am on your guys' side here. So yeah, because who did they cast as Superman again? Some guy.
David Cornsweet.
Yeah, that's some guy if I've ever seen it. Like, I'm sure he's great, but like I don't know. I don't think this is gonna have quite the mass appeal. Like I think it could get to that point later on in James Gunn's universe, or maybe just some other movies with bigger names and whatnot. But I don't think that's gonna be the one to hit $1 billion, especially when these Jurassic movies are consistently doing those numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe this one drops off a bit if we don't have all those big names again. But like you said, even those first two, I guess they still had big names as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll hit $1 billion again, just because we don't really know much about it at this point. But I feel like they're both going to do well. But I think Jurassic would do better. It seems to be the case.
There we go. We'll revisit this in a year, I guess. We'll be getting trailers and everything, so we'll see. Who knows what happens? Maybe those trailers for Jurassic are just dog shit, or maybe they do that route where maybe they go and get a bunch of unknowns, and people are like, there's no stars in Jurassic. Like that's why I still think you'll get a star, but maybe they don't, right? Maybe they'll say, let's try and keep the budget low, get David Cornsweet's brother, Richard Cornsweet, and then see the competing sweats, So. Yeah. Let's take another ad break, then we'll be right back. And we're back. So this one's just a quick one. We're talking about new films, and then I got Patreon Clay's question here as well, and Maddie's. And Maddie
hit his other Jurassic question.
Yeah, I guess we can hit now because I wasn't sure if he was just asking overall, because he said, "Who would you like to direct a new Jurassic Park film?" So I wasn't sure if you just didn't see who the director was, or just like an overall. But do you guys have anybody of, like, let's say Leach falls out and Taylor, they come to you, they're like, hey, Leach said no, we need somebody. Who you got?
Oh, I would like to see a Neil Blomkamp, possibly.
Oh, okay. Gran Turismo hype?
Gran Turismo hype. No, mostly just District 9 hype. That's where that stems from.
Nice.
Dylan, you got anybody?
Yeah, I think if they're going to, I don't know, if it's the same kind of movies as these last three have been in terms of tone and style and all that, I think like a Ryan Johnson, you throw him in there, you give him another franchise.
He just gets...
That's close to Trevorrow there.
Oh, no, are you kidding me?
So. He's in that ball.
I put JJ Trevorrow and Ryan Johnson all together. That's
No. Okay, Dylan is right in the sense of like, big blockbuster, but there's no way you can compare Trevorrow's work to like Last Jedi or Knives Out. Like Johnson is leagues above Colin. Like he is not on the same ballpark. He can do the same thing as Colin, but like Ryan is like much superior. But hey, maybe we get Daniel Craig in the movie, right?
I just don't see that they bringing in a director here for the big creative vision. Like I feel like they kind of already like you're gonna make this movie that we want to make kind of thing. Or in that same ball game. What is it? Why is it? I can't think of this
ball camp.
My mind is falling apart. The directors, it's like duo directors. They did D&D. I think that would be a good.
Oh
pick.
I like that.
That might be hamming up the comedy more than we're used to. But once again, if it's same writer and these guys are just directing, I think they could pull it off.
Yeah.
Jonathan Goldstein, and John Francis Daly, whatever how you pronounce his name. So those would be like, I think if you're just trying to fill that slot, just that puzzle piece, those seem like good ones. But a couple off the wall ones that I would love to see. A Wes Anderson stop motion Jurassic Park movie. I think that could be super fun.
Stop motion one. I would be all over that, man. That'd be great.
All that. And then the other is, and I don't really want him to do this because I want Jordan Peele to keep making his weird movies. But man, after Nope, get him to do like a scary ass Jurassic movie with that scale. With just the great writing and the messages. I'd also want him to write. Like I want him to do everything. And star. Get him to do everything. But those would be my two kind of off the wall picks. They're not going that direction, but those would be very fun.
I promise you, or I can almost guarantee that they at least talked to him about this because he works with Universal a lot.
Okay.
I just feel like even if he right away said, no, that's not interest, I just think there's no way that if Jordan Peele is in your company doing all these films for you and you're going to make a new Jurassic movie that you don't float the idea out, or it could literally be like, hey, I want to do this, and they go, actually, we don't want to do that because that might be, like you said, too weird, right? But
yeah.
I think after Nope, I guarantee you they at least sent out a few like, you got any interest? And maybe it was like a quick no, but I feel like that would be like a studio malpractice if you have Jordan Peele and you don't ask him about every franchise, you know? Because even then he said like, oh, he always wants to make stuff about, like black cinema and stuff, but it's like you could still, I think, find a way to do that with Jurassic Park,
That could be
right?
really
you know,
engaging, yeah.
get
I
Keke
just
Palmer
think
with
he's got
some
years and years and years of doing his doing original stuff before he jumps into any IP stuff like that. So other than like maybe in a small way. So I don't think he would want to do it right now, personally.
I agree with you. I think he also just might be one of those directors that never takes that plunge. Like I think if it is, like you said, something smaller, but I don't know if it will ever get like a Jurassic, a Star Wars, a Star Trek. Like
I don't know,
it's
man.
just
Maybe he has 5 movies that bomb back to back, and
yeah,
he's like,
that's true.
I really could use a paycheck right now. Let me do
That's
a
all it
Jurassic
takes.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he might come up again in Clay's question, but so I think this is something where if you're almost like what Taylor's getting back to, like the scariness, and maybe it's like this guy could still, David, write the script, but this person could take a second draft at it or look over. It's different than what he's doing right now, but I would throw John Krasinski in there because I feel like with A Quiet Place and something, if you were trying to get back to that more smaller scale, because Quiet Place is like big scale, but it's not really because there's so much that's hidden, and I don't think there's that many interactions with the monsters, creatures, whatever they are, right? So if you were to do, and I'm not saying just Carby Cop and that, but I'm just saying that he has a good aspect with working with family dynamics or just ensembles. So usually Jurassic Park has like 3 to 4 characters bumping around, so it might get too samey, and that's why someone might just go, oh well, that's just Quiet Place. It could be, but if you're asking me like, hey, who could make something of quality and it has similar vibes, that would be it. But like I said, that's what I appreciate with Krasinski in real life. That's why I like he's doing If, because he's doing something else different. Even if it's a family film, it's like he's challenging himself to go, okay, I've done 2 of the scary movies, let's do a complete family movie, right? So it wouldn't be that, but maybe that's something that I would see. So and then in that same type of realm, because obviously this is we got Evil Dead we're going to talk about in a second, but this is going to be maybe Legacy sequel, we don't know. Patron Clay asks, with Alien, Jurassic Park, Beetlejuice, Mad Max both getting Legacy movies, reboots, etc. in the next year, what is a franchise that hasn't had a movie in a long time that you'd want to see revived? And if you have a filmmaker and director that would want to write it, direct it, if you have anybody who would tackle that. So you guys got any? Taylor, I'm going to start with you because you're like, oh, I got a good one. So I want to hear what it is, and I want to see if it's Underworld or not.
It's not Underworld. I want to see. I really want to see a new Jaws. I feel like it's a classic, and I feel like other films have piggybacked off of it and just done their own spins. Like we got the Meg. They just make the sharks bigger and bigger, and that seems to be like their way of making things terrifying. But there was a movie that came out, in 2016, The Shallows, and I really liked that movie. That was really, really subtle, good time where just the surfer gets stuck on this little reef, and the shark is just in the area. I feel like you can really tackle a story like that again with Jaws, and it doesn't have to be like a carbon copy, but something very similar to that threat of just this impending shark. And doesn't have to be either like an isolation, like, oh, we're stuck out here on the water, we're stuck on a raft, yada yada yada. But you can have bring Amityville or Amity Island back, not Amityville, Amity Island. Just bring the police chief Brody in. I feel like there's certain things that you could bring in from that original, but I think that I'm really craving that very basic threat of a shark. Don't go full CGI. I want to get that practical shark back in there too.
The one that didn't work in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
That one, okay. Would you get Spielberg back? Would he be back at the helm?
Well, you've kind of made me think that we shouldn't trust Spielberg lately, so.
Well, that's just a me opinion. Lots of other people like his work. So you liked Ready Player One, right? I feel like you trust him. Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
But
get him back in there. Make another one.
I mean, maybe. I don't really know who I would want to really direct it. Maybe we get Neil in there, give him the double whammy. He can take over all of Spielberg's former projects.
Your new Beckinsale?
That's
Ready Player 2, Neil Blomkamp. Dylan, did any spring to mind for you?
Oh man, I was thinking about this all day. I was
Yeah.
googling like a Madman, like what series have been dormant for a while. Like I could not find a single thing, like because I just feel like to his point in the question, like every big franchise is got something at least in the last few years. I was thinking like, oh, like they should bring Spy Kids back. And apparently there's a Spy Kids movie that came out last
It's
year. Didn't even know
awful.
it existed.
It's
So
awful.
so
Avoid it.
I could not find anything. I'm sorry, Clay. I tried my best to come up with one. If you asked me this about games, I'm sure I could come up with a few good answers. But for movies, couldn't find anything juicy.
So I'm kind of the same other than one, I guess two. I didn't find many that like franchises. I found like the idea more of like, okay, a legacy sequel returning back to it. So I have a list of 6. I'm just going to quick fire. There's 3 that are you would just pretty much bring back the same director and just like, just recapture it. And I try to go with, okay, what is movies that have been a little bit while and something where we'd like to return to. So my first one, I'm not saying it's going to be called 8, but a sequel to 7. You got Brad Pitt still around. You got Morgan Freeman still around. David Fincher, he gets in there. There's a big twist. Has everyone seen 7 here? Okay, there's a big twist that happens with Brad Pitt's character. I'd love to see years later what would happen with said character. And I think you could set up with like there's a new plucky detective and stuff like that. Morgan Freeman's whole character is about now he needs to retire. And at the end of the movie, he decides not to retire. So there's things you could circle back to. So that's one. This because this man self-imposed a retirement on himself will never get, but Kill Bill 3, I don't know why he's doing this, but like I would love to get Kill Bill 3. You just get Tarantino back. They set up, right? She kills that girl's daughter. One day come find me. We're going to fight. That's the story right there, but we're not going to get that. I know they've always talked about it, but they're like, oh, we couldn't find the angle. I feel like you do Superbad too, but this time you get Seth Rogen to direct, and I feel like you do like the cheap, like maybe it's Stephen Evans' kids in high school, they're together and stuff. But when you talk about legacy sequels like a Ghostbusters, that's literally the old cast in there for like 20 minutes since the new people. I think as long as you get Seth and Bill Hader are still the cops, Emma Stone makes a quick cameo.
She would do it.
She would do it, right? So it's like all these people in there. That's where it's like, I feel like there's legacy sequel potential in Superbad, even when they're all in their 50s. Like I feel like there's tons of time with that. The other one I didn't put it in because it just sprung to mind. I think they're doing that with American Pie. I think that's the rumor that they're bringing the cast
That's what
back.
I keep hearing.
Yeah, to be like the parents, and then so that I think is a good idea. And then my 3 more, like I guess this isn't a franchise. E.T. again, the Henry Thomas actor. He's still around acting. Drew Barrymore.
We got that sequel commercial. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I did, So I think you either do Spielberg or my cheat again is you do Krasinski. I think he could be a good fit there. And then my 2 that are more legacy franchise stuff is, and we're talking about in a second, I think Evil Dead, and I think you do with all the leads like we've talked about. You get Mia, you get Ash, and you get whatever her name is in Rise. I can't remember. Maybe a new lead. And you get them all together. That's when you get Sam Raimi back. If not Sam Raimi, you do a legacy sequel with those 3 with Edgar Wright. I think he could do something really fun with Evil Dead, especially because like with Last Night in Soho, he's putting his toes into horror and stuff. And then my last legacy sequel is one that I've said before, so it's not that crazy, but I want Ari Aster to direct Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what I want. England's still alive. Heather Langenkamp's still alive. And even England has been like, oh, well, the makeup, it takes a lot. I feel like Ari Aster could make some reason why you could just have Robert Englund act a lot. Like I would want something like that and be really trippy. I don't know how successful it would be, but yeah, those were my picks.
You made me think of one.
Nice.
You know who's the biggest guy in Hollywood right now is Mike White off The White Lotus. Let's do School of Rock. Let's do a sequel.
Oh,
School of
yeah.
Rock all these years later. Jack Black, he's still a big deal.
Yeah.
Get him in there,
Joan
and it's all these
Cusack.
people, and they all still love music. And now you do the classic kids thing again. Their kids are in this School of Rock.
Yes.
Me and Muds watched that recently. I went through like, what are all of these actors like doing these days? And a couple of those kids are like married now, which is kind of a fun thing. And some of them are still doing music and whatnot. So I think that could be fun. Some of them, that was the only movie they ever acted in, I think. So
Yeah.
bring them back too for their second acting role.
Isn't that girl from iCarly in there?
Miranda Cosgrove.
Yeah, perfect. I agree with you. That's a really good one. I think with him, but just all those people are still around. Like I said, I love Joan Cusack in that movie, so I feel like it'd be fun to
she's
see her
great,
back. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that. So speaking of Evil Dead, we talked about this before when the movie came out. It was last year where Bruce Campbell's like, oh, you'll be getting it a lot more sooner. So I don't think there's much to talk about here because I don't think we've seen any of his work, even including myself. There's a lot of foreign films, but the director Sebastian Finique, there's a lot of like different, symbols by the name. So I'm definitely saying it wrong, but they've said that this is an Evil Dead spin-off. And we were talking about this at Spubs in the Discord, where I don't know if that just means that all these films are spin-offs. Like if in Evil Dead 4, that's technically Ash Williams, so maybe all of them are like a rise, but they made this announcement and they said the plan is to do Evil Dead films with upcoming filmmakers. I don't think they've said like, yearly. They didn't put a date on. They just said, hey, this is our new game plan. As we talked about before, there's a big gap between Evil Dead 2013 and then Rise, 10 years. And 2013 was a hit. So everyone was like, where's this coming? What's going to happen? But it seems like with Rise, this go around, it was like, hey, the franchise is still there. So Dylan, do you like this concept of, hey, finding up and coming directors to do spinoffs? Do you think that maybe not waiting 10 years, but do you think that already, because Rise came out last year and now production's starting on another one. So I think it might be like, we could even get this next year, right? Like, look at Saw. Saw is one,
like horror movies, they have quick turnaround sometimes because
right. So, like, do you think that's a good idea to maybe fast track these a bit more because Rise was a big hit for them?
Yeah, why not? It seems like a good time to do it. I think this is a really fun and cool idea. Like these big time kind of horror guys and Sam Raimi and stuff bringing in like, because I'm sure they're watching all sorts of weird small horror movies,
Absolutely,
just like they started out. And finding these people who are making interesting stuff and like getting those people to make sequels, because Evil Dead's a perfect series for this, where there are a few movies now and there is enough juice there. There's established stuff that you can work with, but it's also like there's not a whole lot. Like if you were to go through a wiki page, I'm sure on the fandom site, there's probably not a ton there because like there isn't tons of lore to this. And I mean, I guess there's a TV show, so maybe there's a whole lot that I'm missing. But I feel like it's ambiguous enough, and there's enough. There's just enough room to go a lot of different directions with it. But it's also just like a classic for so many people. And I'm sure a lot of people who are directing horror movies grew up loving those movies or thinking they were interesting at the very least. So, and then, even like if you dip into like Army of Darkness, like that's a total wacky, completely different thing too. So if that opens up the possibilities of what you can do as well. So I really like this idea. I obviously don't know who his director is, so not much opinion on that, but if Sam Raimi handpicked them, then I'm sure he's a good pick for this.
Yeah, I'm excited because like what you alluded to, I think we did the retro. Go check it out. Look at Evil Dead 1, 2, Army of Darkness, and then 2013. They're all varying degrees of Evil Dead, right? I didn't include Rise because I feel like Rise is very much like the 2013. It's that kind of not torture porn, but very scary, obtuse, gross things happening, right? And then Evil Dead 1 was this like low budget guerrilla filmmaking one. Evil Dead 2 was almost like a parody of itself. Evil Dead 3 was like a parody medieval thing. So that's the thing where in all the decades of Evil Dead, the next Evil Dead could be like a full-on comedy again, right? And you couldn't be like, oh, they ruined Evil Dead, because it's like they've done this before. So that's a good thing. Like, not even just the lore, I feel like just the tones of those movies, they can really do anything. Like, I feel like Evil Dead having like an anthology type film franchise has lots of potential. I do think they should keep it to like a 2-year minimum. I don't think it is the same as Saw, because eventually people did get sick of Saw, right? And like Saw has a really low budget. So I guess as long as they keep the budgets like they did before, like a 40 million, like really low, I guess they could put out yearly. But I feel like if for long-term purpose, I would prefer 3. But I feel like 2 is like a good minimum to have, where it's like a little break, you get to make it, the marketing, because I feel like that's where even if you start to have a low budget, people could turn, and all it takes is maybe 1 or 2 myth films, right? And then if they're all bangers, then it doesn't matter, because then it's like, oh man, like Saw was for a while for the fans, right? It's like, oh, every year we're getting a Saw. And then eventually, once we got to some of those later years, people got tired of it and they didn't come out. So that's what you don't want to happen with Evil Dead. So yeah, and I think that's good, because I think this shows that they probably are going with these type of directors as well too, because they are used to working with smaller budgets. So there's a director that might work with a film that has a $10 million budget, and you tell them, hey, you're getting 30. They're gonna be like, holy fuck, like this is crazy, you know? Like same thing with us. Like if you were to tell us like, hey, you guys got a $1 million budget, we'd be like, oh my god, like the gates are open. You know, we're working with like a $5,000 budget. So yeah, I'm excited that it's just not a 10-year wait, and I'm excited that Evil Dead is not dead, and I hope this is a good film. So Taylor.
I'm very much excited just to get more Evil Dead. I think you hit that head on, where I don't think that it shouldn't go for that Saw factor where people did get sick of Saw, and I don't think you should rush these films, because I think that it can be noticeable how repetitive it is, at least to the degree of just how much gore and blood and violence there are in these films. So I think that they should really do really well like deep dive stories. Like I like getting attached to the characters. I think that's one of the reasons why I really liked Rise, is because I really got involved with just the mom and how you feel sorry for her, and yet of course she's the one who becomes the villain, and just really play with different camera scenes. And that's something that Evil Dead did, just having like originally the camera being this entity that's flowing through the woods going after its victims. That's where it starts. And then at least in Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise especially, you get really cool sequences where it's like that hallway scene and you're looking through the people, and it's just fucking chaos out there. Or just she's got their headphones on, then mom drops in behind her out of the vent, stuff like that. Just, if you can keep doing unique things like that, again, the title card, then I think you can really spice up new anthology sequel films.
Yeah. All right, our final stories here, staying in the horror realm. Winnie Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, they released trailer, and they also said that this is coming out, got a little bit of a bigger budget, because the first one did well for its, comparative. They also said that you got to stay tuned for the end credits of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, because they're going to be unveiling their public domain universe. I don't know what they're going to be calling it, but yeah. They're showing off, they're doing Pinocchio and Peter Pan, the specific company, because there is another company doing a Bambi one, but that's not the same company. So this company is specifically doing...
They should team up, man.
The Bambi one, or these three characters they have?
Bambi and...
whatever this company
just the
is.
directors of these separate movies. They should...
Maybe they're pissed, though. Maybe they wanted to do Bambi and someone beat them to it, right? So there's like some blood feud there. So... I don't know. As weird as it sounds, I need to give Blood and Honey another watch. I probably will, because I wanted it to be more bad than good. This trailer, I will say, it does look like some of the budget's a little bit bigger, and I appreciate that they're really doubling down on, like, you got Tigger in there, like they're bringing a lot of the animals. This one looks more like the first one was them going to the animals or monsters. This looks like the animal monsters are coming to them in town, which I think is always a fun juxtaposition. So I'm hoping for a better time than the first one, because I think they just, for me, should have went all out and went really, really over the top. For me, that's what, I don't think the Mean one completely did that, but the Mean one was closer to what I wanted than Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And the whole cinematic universe, it's like, okay, cool. If you're going to make some money, go ahead. I do think they are going to pull a trigger, and I think they are going to at some point do some fucking Avengers type movie where they're all together. And I'm dreading and excited for that as well. So the trailer was pretty much exactly what I thought. And I did just get a kick out of, stay tuned for the end credits for this next movie and our plan. So I guess color me like, what is the word?
Intrigued, maybe?
It's like being scared for intrigued and not cautiously optimistic. I don't know.
Frightened into place. Scared out of your boots.
No, I might be after I see this movie, but I have some sort of anticipation. Don't know what it is. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Taylor, did you see the Pooh and Blood and Honey as well?
Yeah, I mean, Travis reviewed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan as well?
I mean, the first one, I do not remember what I rated it, but I think I'd have to rewatch it again. I need to kind of put myself back into that world and just kind of get familiarized with it. I think that it definitely shows its budget, that first one.
Oh, yeah.
But there's definitely some stuff that I was laughing at. You laugh at how Christopher Robin acts in certain scenes and whatnot. Because he's a dummy. Very questionable. I think any person, but particularly Christopher Robin, should know, like, fuck, this isn't good.
You should just watch the first, 5 minutes of the movie, Dylan, and that tells you everything you need to know.
I intended to watch it. It just wasn't easy to find anywhere.
Yeah.
So I never got around to it. But definitely with the sequel coming out, hopefully comes out at a nice time, because I think the first one came out when I was out of town or something wacky. So I definitely want to get in on this. Like, this seems fun and stupid, and you know what weirded me out?
Maybe we do a watch along, Maybe
definitely.
do that.
I remember watching the like trailers for the first one, and I thought Pooh was more of like a monstrosity. Whereas in this, he's just a guy with a mask, right?
No, I had the same thing.
But
Dylan.
even like his body shape, like I thought he was bigger and more of a menacing figure, but he's just like a slim guy. Maybe he has like a little bit gut going on, and we all have that at some points. And then like he just has a little mask on.
Because me and Taylor talked about the review, because I was the reverse. In Winnie the Pooh, I thought he was wearing a mask and he wasn't a mutant. But then Taylor, I'm pretty sure Taylor was right, where they are supposed to be like mutated. So I think that's just the budget having some.
I guess I'm more tripped out at just like how regular the body shape
Yes.
is. I thought like especially
it's just
with
the head.
Winnie the Pooh, who kind of has like has got a big belly there. Like I think that could be fun as part of the aesthetic, but it just seems a bit vanilla somehow.
Yeah.
Really, all they went for was the mask, and that's where Tigger is a bit different. He has like a tail or something, right, and like the boots or something, which looks really weird.
Yeah.
Because it was just Piglet was the other character in the first one, right?
Yeah, and he did. And, well, there is another one, but he is a spoiler bad fate.
Okay.
Early on,
No spoilers,
you'll forget.
Well, there were. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I won't talk about that. But there were 3 total, right? Or was it just Piglet and
was
Pooh
Eeyore
in
there?
The first one. No, Eeyore is a different story that they address. But I thought there was a third one.
What does that mean, sorry?
That's it. We can't. You said no spoilers. We don't. They hinted. Same thing with Tigger, because he was in the first one, but they're like, oh yeah, like you see it and stuff. But Taylor,
Was Tigger in the first one?
No, like he was in the drawings and stuff. Like they alluded
like a big
to
reveal
him.
for this one.
Yeah.
The vibe I got from the trailer.
They alluded that Tigger existed, but he was not in the first one. Taylor, that's what it was.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, it is just Pooh and Piglet, I guess, in that first one. So that's one of the highlights for me, is seeing that we've gone expanded, because we got Owl in this one, we have Tigger, and Piglet's back in here, which is great. Pooh's back, obviously.
There's story reasons. They explain.
There's story reasons. Yeah. Owl is Rabbit's not in here.
Not yet. You gotta save someone for the third movie, right?
I don't even know who Owl and Rabbit are. You're beyond me on the Pooh knowledge over here.
And Taylor, you gave this a 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd.
3 out of 5. Okay,
really
so
good.
I passed it. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I am excited because watching the trailer, the budget is noticeably different, and just seeing like Pooh, just that flaming chainsaw, I was like, man, this is cool. I'm getting like funny. Friday the 13th vibes mixed in here, and I was really eating all that. And you get the classic stuff where you got like, what was the women in the hot tub, or were they in the hot tub in the first one?
I think so.
And
I was surprised. Yeah, they oh no, you remind me of the pool scene too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So you got your classic, like the ladies that are all like, they're gonna die kind of thing. So
yeah. And what about the cinematic universe, Taylor? Are you excited for that? The idea
totally
of,
excited. I really am. I think that this is just crazy. Let's make Disney feel really anxious, and let's do it.
Who do you want added the most
Yeah.
from public domain characters?
Get Steamboat Willie in there, Mickey Mouse.
I mean, that's already being done with another
Yeah,
film, I guess.
is,
But I mean, Peter Pan. That's interesting. And the other one, Bambi. And then what was the other one?
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
That's a great
I'm
one.
really excited to see.
Especially after
Pinocchio.
Liza P. Pinocchio's blowing up right now. I mean,
So hot right now. Pinocchio, so hot.
did you guys? Puss in Boots is public domain.
Really?
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Get him in here? Maybe
I
he's
think
a
that
hero?
would be like just a horror like cat wearing boots.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that would be great.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I'm surprised no one's done it yet. Oh. And then finally, our last little thing today, Long Legs. This is coming from Neon. This is, I can never say her name. She's in a bunch of stuff. She's in
Malika?
It Falls. Yeah, Malika Mashurka or something.
Oh.
Nicolas Cage is in this. This got a lot of buzz because the past few weeks they've been dropping some very eerie and different type of teasers and posters. They were very much like, they got you intrigued, but you didn't know what was going on per se. It's a good marketing campaign. They've done a good job, but there were full trailers out, and it's she's playing a detective looking after a serial killer. Don't know what's really going on. This is like top 10 anticipate for me right now. Maybe a top 5, to be honest. If I would have had to take out my list for most wanted, I still think there's a chance when I get to it, and maybe it's something like it could be too trippy or not hit that level of what I'm thinking, like a top 5er. But the marketing in this trailer, for me, it was just the vibe. Really digging the vibe. Really digging. I like that neon because neon doesn't hit as well as A24 for me, but it does have that type of vibe. So everything I saw in here was great. I'm assuming from the voice and just the little shots that I think Nicolas Cage is going to be the killer, and I think that's like that has some primo potential, like, especially if we get like serious Nicolas Cage, because he can't act, and even if he's a little crazy, it might work if he's like a satanic or like loosey goosey guy. So this for me is right on the radar, and I'm looking really excited for this one now. So, and I hope Kelowna gets it, but I have a feeling we're not gonna, because I don't know how wide a release it's gonna happen. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, that would be too bad. I think this is a really really well done trailer. The music was really great, and it was a bit different. Yeah, the tone, the vibe of it, still horror, but something different. I was really getting like a big kind of parallel worlds sort of vibe to it, where they have like, I guess it's the text, the title of the movie. I don't know what it is, but like they're drawing text on the screen every once in a while, and it's kind of like mirrored on either side. We're seeing a lot of shots of like she's screaming, and then it's like it seemed like a different person in a car, like having this different scene. So I don't know if there's some sort of voodoo situation going on where like one character does a thing, and then it forces some other character to act in that way, and that's where the killer is being forced to do these actions through like a medium or something weird like that. But what, like,
Or is the detective getting visions of the victims, like some of their experiences?
yeah,
going
that
on,
could be it
you
too.
know?
Either way, like
Yeah.
some really fun, trippy ideas that I think could be, if they're executed well, could be really, really fun. So I'm pretty excited for this all of a sudden. Does it have a release date yet?
I'll check. I think it might be in the summers. I think it's still
Okay.
a little
wait
ways
here.
off. Yeah. Long Legs, one film or one July 12th. So
Okay.
I don't know what's going on in July.
Try to keep my excitement in check here. It's pretty far away.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what's coming else that weekend. July 12th. That's the. Oh no, there's not much because the week before is Despicable Me 4, and then the week after is Twister. So it's 2 weeks before Deadpool 3. So I'm kind of hoping with a lighter week we might get it. But what about you, Taylor? Because I know the Nick Cage got to you, but even without Nick Cage, is this something you'd be interested in, or did this look like a pass for you?
No, this interested me. I'd say for sure. This the story and just watching the trailer. It's like, man, this is crazy. There's some wild stuff going on here, and I like the general synopsis of just trying to figure out what's going on, like some supernatural serial killer kind of stuff, things unraveling. It just sounds really, really wild and intriguing and mysterious. And I'm really excited to see how that story would unfold, like the crescendo, the unraveling at the end. So it's a journey I want to go on. I just love seeing how Nick Cage has gone from just where he was back in the day, doing like really great roles in these movies, and just started to go downhill, and like it's like what the fuck kind of roles. And now he's climbing his way back up. He's been doing really, really cool stuff lately, really good stuff. So what a journey.
Oh, it really is. Like he has a career you can't peg, and I like that he's doing these really odd roles. So
He's a hardworking man.
exactly.
If nothing else.
So yeah, maybe there'll be, if we could see it, maybe there'll be a geek first review for that, because I feel like we're pretty interested. We haven't heard Kirkland's thoughts, but I feel like it'd be up the Mr. Disneyland's alley there. But
Could be. Yeah.
yeah. Well, there you go. We have done it. We will be back for a newscast later on in just a few days to talk about all these glorious trailers coming up. So thank you very much for listening if you've gotten this far. And yeah, promise to hear from us next, and I'll be boring.